Hello and welcome to the first video uploaded lesson out of hopefully many. I wanted to throw this introduction in to welcome you and also kind of break down how these are going to run. So this first video is going to be done in my normal voice, but in the future I'd like to try and change that up, talk in different accents or voices. If you have characters that you'd like me to try out, by all means, I'd feel free to let me know in any comments or messages. Also, Class Dojo limits our time, so I'm going to try and keep it short, but if there are any technical difficulties, please reach out and let me know. If you have any questions, of course, you can call me at the numbers and the email that I gave you, or send me a text, anything like that. But without further ado, let's jump right into this lesson. Alright, so into the lesson, right off the bat, I gotta say that I didn't think about it at the time of my last recording. So at the time of this recording, I've realized I'm not uploading this video to Class Dojo. I'm putting this video on YouTube, and I'm putting that YouTube link on Class Dojo. So I believe that I should be okay with a longer video. So we're not actually limited on time. As you can see, this lesson is going to be about angles. So I know what a lot of you are thinking right now, and it's along the lines of, oh, come on, Mr. Shuffit, I know what an angle is. And I know that we can write angles. I don't know if you've worked with angles with Miss Brown, but I know for a fact that angles can be complex and confusing. And that's why I wanted to make this lesson. So you'll notice that I did assign you a couple of things that have to do with angles. If you look through the entire math packet, there's one question that looks crazy, right? I'm going to build up to that question, all right? Just so that we have enough time to get through everything else. So in this lesson, we're just going to look at angles. And my problem when teaching angles is that I never had the terminology. I never knew how to phrase it or what to say. But this is perfect because it says that an angle is formed when two lines meet at a shared point. So two lines. Let's take this dotted line here, and let's take this baseline here. That creates an angle, right? This blue line, purple line is showing us the angle measurement. Now it doesn't tell us the angle measurement, but it's showing us what we're measuring. Now an acute angle is less than 90 degrees. We know that. It's not important. We're going to go through that in just a moment. But this is our acute angle, and it is made by two lines that meet at a shared point. This is our center point, right? Angles are formed where two lines meet at a single point. Angles are measured in the number of degrees they rotate around this point. So rotations, all this other stuff, I'm thinking clock. Angles are kind of like looking at a clock. Let's see. They are measured in degrees, which are represented by the symbol floating 0, floating O. That's what it looks like to me, a floating O. That's our degree symbol. You've seen it when working with temperature. You've got degrees Celsius, degrees Fahrenheit, degrees Kelvin. It's also used for measuring angles, so it's the same symbol for both. Now, there are four important types of angles. Now, there's more than four types of angles, but there's four important types. We're going to focus on acute, right, obtuse. And we're going to kind of forget about the reflex angle for now. A full circle has 360 degrees. It says it here as well. It's important to know. If you look at a circle and the question ever asks you how many degrees are in that circle, 360 of them. Because you have to make a complete 360 to get back to where you were. Now, I'm going to backtrack a little bit, boys and girls. I said a baseline. When I say baseline, boys and girls, I mean the line that you're going to use with a protractor. What's a protractor? Well, that's this guy. That's this little template here. So as not to confuse you, boys and girls, I'm going to save that for another time. But trust me, when I say the baseline is important to determine. The baseline, boys and girls, is the line that you're going to use to line up your protractor. So when I have my protractor here, if you can see, this red line here is right along the 180 degree line. That's my baseline. Because in order to measure this angle accurately, I have to put one of the lines on this 0 so that I can measure 135 degrees. That's my baseline. So we've already talked about the acute angle. It's any angle less than 90 degrees. That's an acute angle. Think small. Think cute, like a cute puppy. Acute. The next angle up from acute is a right angle. This is an angle that is exactly 90 degrees, right? It is a right angle. Now, it's very important to distinguish that a right angle isn't always going to look the same. Sorry. That's what I was talking about in terms of the tricky stuff. A right angle, boys and girls, you're looking at this. You could also, however, be looking at this. Or you could be looking at this. Any angle that is 90 degrees is a right angle. They're not always going to look the same. In fact, you can make a really wonky looking 90-degree angle if you just find the right points. That's a 90-degree angle too. But it doesn't look like it. It looks like a roof of a house. Now I imagine it looks like a cup. Something similar. Sorry. There we go. Now I imagine it looks like you could put water in there. Like a bowl. But it is a 90-degree angle. It says it's 90 degrees, and that's why we need to be able to measure angles. But a 90-degree angle is a right angle. That's what we need to know. That's what's important right now, and that's what I'm hoping that you get from this. A right angle is 90 degrees, always. What about an obtuse angle then? Well, the obtuse angle, think of an angle that's greater than 90 but smaller than 180. It's important that you distinguish that it is greater than 90 but smaller than 180. Sorry, not smaller than 80. Smaller than 180 degrees. It's greater than 90 degrees but smaller than 180 degrees. That looks kind of like that line that I had at first. That 135 degree angle. This is an obtuse angle. When I think of obtuse, I'm thinking obtuse. It sounds like a big word. Ob. You have to like open your mouth as wide as you can. Obtuse. Right? Try that. Obtuse. So you know an obtuse is a big angle. Greater than 90 degrees. But smaller than 180 degrees. Bigger than 90 degrees, but smaller than 180 degrees. I apologize. I'm getting tongue-tied. My point here, as long as you understand, as long as you have some way to remember these angles by, you'll never have to worry about that. Acute angle, it's a cute angle. It's small. It's like a small puppy. It's a cute angle. A right angle, think of right angles. Think of squares. Literally, anytime somebody asks you about a right angle, think of a square, because a square is made of completely right angles. Rectangles too, but I think squares. Right angles remind me of squares. And obtuse. Obtuse. Big angles. Now, the reason that I didn't want to talk to you about obtuse or reflex angles is because you're not really going to see them until later on. But they are important because this is why you have to distinguish that an obtuse angle is smaller than 180 degrees. Because if you look at this green line here, you're noticing that it goes all the way around to below 180, right? The line is pointing down rather than up. But instead of having a line this way, you've got a line all the way around. That's telling you have to measure all the way around. Reflex angles are angles that are greater than 180 degrees. They're angles that are bigger than 180 degrees. This is an important distinction to make. That's as if I took this angle here and rotated it down to point there. All right, 245 degrees. It's greater than 180, and instead of being able to just measure this part, you would have to measure this part and then subtract it from 360 to find out that this is 245, right? If I were to take the same angle and slightly move it a little bit, hold on, you would find that this angle is approximately 115 degrees. 360 minus 115, you would get 200 and I think we said 35, 245 degrees, right? So reflex angles are bigger than 300 or 180 degrees, and of course there are no angles that we're going to be measuring that are bigger than 180. So, acute, right angle, obtuse angle. We know all of our angle types. This is going to conclude our first lesson. Now, I know that this video that I uploaded is a little longer than the previous upload, and all I can say about math videos is I'm going to try and keep them all relatively short. They're going to vary between Khan Academy videos and videos that I make. There were some Khan Academy videos about angles, but I thought that these graphics were really useful. That's why I wanted to make this lesson. But they will vary, and timing will also fluctuate. At the end of this lesson, actually, I would like to just really quickly explain what I didn't explain earlier. So the reason that we are learning about angles, the reason that we took all this time to look at all this boring stuff that a good chunk of us probably already know, is that when you start looking at problems like this, you can get confused. It's very easy to get confused. And it's not a bad thing that you're confused. Because when I first look at this, actually, the first time that I opened this up, boys and girls, I saw this A, and I thought that they were labeling this angle as A, and they were going to say solve for A. Upon further inspection, they've labeled all the points on this graph. So this point here, the center point, is point A. What they would ask you to do on an exam, boys and girls, is they would look at this and they would say, oh, which of these angles is an obtuse angle? We're going to look at an example of this in a future video. It'll be a shorter video, but stuff like this is on your test. In a future video, we will look at something like this, and they're going to ask you to identify a certain type of angle. This, we're going to say obtuse. And seeing that angle FAB is 60 degrees, well, 60 degrees is less than 90. So is 52. So these two angles are not obtuse. This is our 90-degree angle. That's exactly 90. That's not obtuse. This very obviously is not obtuse. This is acute as well. Angle EAF, however, is an obtuse angle. So you would choose the selection, you would choose the option that says EAF. Angle EAF is the obtuse angle, right? When you start to get older, boys and girls, they'll have you measure angles, in which case they're going to ask you to solve, figure out what angle EAF measures and what angle DAE measures too. That'll be algebra, boys and girls, and just simply knowing that the inner angles of a circle are 360 degrees in total is extremely helpful. Because for me, boys and girls, just to continue and finish this analogy, 60 degrees is the other end of this angle. So this is a straight line. Line EAB is a straight line. So you got 60 degrees on one end. That means if you take 60 degrees away from 180 degrees, you're left with the measurement of this angle, right? If you look at this and you know that a right angle is 90 degrees, you can add 52 to 90 to get 142, and you can also say whatever DAE is equal to is 180 minus that 142. 142 taken away, let's see, 180 minus 142. If you want to pause and solve it on your own, please do so. I'm going to do some quick mental math and say that that is 38 degrees. So angle DAE is 38 degrees. Angle EAF is 120 degrees. That's algebra, boys and girls. We're not going to have to do that, but you're going to have to do it eventually. We're not going to do that together, you and me, but eventually in life you're going to have to know this. This is why it's important to understand angles. And that'll conclude this part of the lesson. All I wanted to show you was angles. All I wanted you to understand were parts of the angles, the labels for the angles, what angles are made of, right? Center points, two lines that meet at a center point. All this stuff is important, boys and girls. This is stuff that's going to stay with you forever. Even as an adult, I find randomly that I have to know angle measurements or understand that there are 360 degrees in a circle, that a straight line is 180 degrees. These things will come up at the most random times. Not all math does, but angles will. Alright, that's going to conclude this video for this lesson. But I'm hoping to continue creating more videos for you. Again, I apologize for any of the rough transitions. This is going to be a process for both of us, for all of us. Hopefully, as time goes on, the transitions will become smoother. I'll be able to make a wider variety of like different videos using different software and stuff. Again, if there are any things that you want to see changed or any ideas that you have, feel free to shoot me a message and reach out and let me know. If there's any voices that you want me to try to do in the future, please again reach out and let me know. This will be the only video, I'm hoping, where I use my normal voice, and the rest of them we'll have fun with it. We'll try and get a kick out of it for as much as we can. I hope you're having a fantastic time off, boys and girls, so not being in school. I also hope that you're getting enough sleep and that you are staying healthy. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. My apologies. And I will see you in the next video. Peace out.